Denver had a new plan with this latest storm. Clear the side streets so there wasn't as much buildup after the storm. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry is driving around Denver this morning, checking out those side streets for us. Jaleesa, how's it looking?
Corey, so far so good. Side streets were an absolute nightmare to get around last storm, and the city of Denver acknowledged that, and so they deployed their residential plows this go around. Right now we're near the 5 Points neighborhood where roads are looking pretty good. Now the city of Denver says they had crews plowing residential streets since 3 a.m. yesterday. The plow shaves off the top few inches of snow to create a nice path to the main streets. Now it's important to note these residential plows do not carry de-icer, so with temperatures pretty low overnight, these roads are still pretty slick, so you want to take it easy. But the goal for these roads is to not be as bumpy or difficult to navigate. So keep in mind, you will still see snow on these side streets. It should hopefully just be not as bad as the last storm. And Corey, I know you want to track plows. You can do it online on the city's website, but just a heads up, it's not in real time. We've been trying to hunt for a snowplow for the last few minutes. It's a little difficult, I will tell you that.
So well. Yes, it's like you're in my brain, Jaleesa. How did you know that I was really looking forward to that? Apparently there's a delay though with the maps and trying to find the mini plows, so keep looking. Thanks for the update. We're going to check back with the Jaleesa coming up in just a few minutes. Now, small plows should be out on side streets again today, working on clearing those roads. Their shift started at 3 o'clock this morning. 15 baby plows out yesterday. The baby plows are city pickup trucks with plows on the front. The drivers worked 12-hour shifts yesterday trying to scrape off the top few inches of that snow. And the drivers are all city workers who usually do other jobs, but they say times like this, someone has to step up.
It's one of those things where, you have to be on call, and so you have to be willing to kind of stop what you're doing if it's on a weekend, a holiday, and be ready to jump in a plow. So it's really a dedicated group of folks who are willing to just kind of do that.
City leaders say they'll decide sometime this morning whether to add a shift of plowing later on today.
This morning, there is no way in or out of a small mountain town in southwest Colorado. An avalanche dumped about 20 feet of snow on Ophir Road. Ophir is about 10 miles south of Telluride in San Miguel County.
As we say, oh, for God's sakes, it's always something up there in the Ophir Valley. Power has been restored, which if you were there at the scene, you'd say that's pretty amazing.
Well, the sheriff's office says no cars were trapped under the avalanche, but some cars drove into it and got stuck during that whiteout. Officials are asking people in Ophir to stay home. People who live in Ophir but are currently outside of town should find somewhere else to stay, they say, while they clear out all of that snow. The sheriff warns there could be more avalanches as well.
You can ski in and out. We're not recommending that because, once again, the chance of having additional slides come down.
Colorado Avalanche Information Center is reporting a high avalanche risk in the area. The county's Road and Bridge Department is working to clear snow as well as debris. Crews are hoping to get Ophir Road back open today. That all, though, depends on the weather.
The family of a woman who died after being trapped outside her nursing home in the cold is now suing the facility. Mary Jo Staub died of hypothermia last February right outside the doors of her nursing home. 97-year-old Mary Jo Staub lived at Lavender Farms in Louisville. The lawsuit by her family says Staub wandered outside sometime after midnight on February 26, 2022. She was locked out in below freezing temperatures. The lawsuit says Staub tried to walk around the side of the building to get closer to the nurses' station. She made it to the doors right next to the nurses' station. The lawsuit says surveillance video showed her banging on the glass doors for help. No one saw her, and 5 hours later, a nurse found her dead. The state health department investigated Staub's death and decided the facility didn't do anything wrong. Staub's daughters are suing Lavender Farms and one of the employees who was working that night.
The governor is accusing Colorado's biggest nonprofit hospitals of hoarding money and overcharging patients. Our Marshall Zellinger got a hold of a new financial report that shows just how much money these hospitals have.
Just like your personal savings account, hospitals have a reserve account meant for a rainy day, or should we say snowy day. The state's Department of Healthcare Policy and Financing, known simply as HCPF, released a few reports that appear to defend the governor's criticism of nonprofit hospitals saving too much money and not giving patients relief.
We applaud hospitals that are on solid financial ground. It's when the reserves are excessive that represents overcharging of communities, businesses, and families who should not be paying excessive prices.
HCPUF's director, Kim Bimsteffer, pointed out an example of what the state believes is excessive saving. In 2021, UC Health, a nonprofit hospital, had 469 days worth of savings.
There is no credible advisor that would say 469 days on hand is the right amount of days. That's excessive. And that represents individuals, communities, and families that were overcharged for services. And that's the behavior that has to stop.
A UC Health spokesman said today those savings are down to 308 days.
All hospitals in Colorado, regardless of how stable they might have been in the past few years, are now faced with a really uncertain environment.
Jeff Tiemann is the CEO of the Colorado Hospital Association and points out the data provided by the state is historical from more than a year ago and does not take into account inflation, higher expenses, and workforce shortages.
I think it's important to make sure we're looking at where we are now versus where we've been.
A recent report from the Colorado Hospital Association shows collectively hospitals spent $1.6 billion for the community's benefit in 2020. Think of community benefit as how nonprofit hospitals make good for not paying taxes. The bulk of the $1.6 billion was on free and reduced health care and care that was not reimbursed. The state is seeking more accountability. Are hospitals providing what the communities they serve are asking for?
Think of what tax dollars might go towards. They might go towards helping people with housing, might go towards food insecurity.
I hear about increased reporting and transparency requirements. We're open to learning what those might look like, but think that there's a lot of that in place now.
Our Marshall Zellinger reporting. The state wants hospitals to lower their reserves, reduce prices for everybody, and there's also a push for state lawmakers to pass a bill to keep these hospital organizations accountable.